Welcome to Nearing Nerdvana, bringing you another episode of Long Story Short. This is episode 8. I'm Yee, joined by Laura from Bird City Comics. How's it going?
Hi, good. I'm excited I made it. Like, barely made it, but I'm here.
Right in time as the intro music was going on. All right, how's it going, Long Short?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in tonight. Hey, real quick, before we get going, I just want to give a huge thank you to the big supporter of the show. They call me Bruce 3. Bruce, he sent me this for no reason at all in the mail.
What?
A Jeff to call 9.8. I'd given my last copy away, so I didn't even have a copy of this book for myself. And for whatever reason, he surprised me with it. So thank you so much, man. super awesome of you. And if you ever need anything, you let me know. But thank you so much. With a few other books as well. But thank you, Bruce. Thank you.
That goes for me too, Bruce. If you need anything, let us know, because that's like insanely cool.
Yeah, my dog was jealous even. How's it going, Carter?
How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. I mean, you're celebrating 10 years of comic book content creating. So congrats on that. Like I watched that whole 10-cent video. Whew, impressive.
Busy.
Yeah.
10 years. You've been doing this since you were like what, 18?
I'm 44, and
See what I did there?
as cute as I've ever been.
He even went frontal face camera on his haul video. I was kind of shocked. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that threw me off guard a little bit, man.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, we got a shout out from our biggest supporter, Bruce. Thank you so much, man. $20.
Hey, stop it.
Not necessary, but super appreciated. So thank you so much.
I'll bust out the guitar in just a second. So as soon as we finish our introductions, and
thank you.
Yeah.
All right, how's it going, Red Hood?
It's good, man. Just enjoying life. Life is good, man. I'm blessed. Happy to be alive.
Man, I saw your Instagram post right before we went on.
I did too.
Like holding up the X-Men one.
Well, I went live, but I had to cut it short because my dog was acting crazy. But shout out Grifter. He sent me a sub of some amazing keys. So we're gonna try and get that X-Men 1 to like a 6, a 6.5. Man, it's a beautiful book. It's just a lot of tanning and stuff like that. So the before and afters are gonna be fun for the Instagram.
You'll kill it.
The best presser in the game right here, Red Hood. If you need anything,
I mean, there's hella good pressers out there, man. So as long as they're like taking care of their clients and getting them good grades, man. But yeah, man. You're being humble.
I've seen the results. Your magic press. You get creases out that have no business coming out of books. So
yeah. I used another presser and I was like kind of disappointed on the grades coming back.
You used another presser.
It was like last minute thing, like where it's just like kind of like I guess I'll get them pressed, and it was like their in-house presser, and I was like kind of like, oh
man, I knew something was going on between us, bro.
You had but I have a pile of books to send you anyway.
Dirty
fighting words.
Wow.
It was only 2 books, so don't worry.
Well, at least you stabbed me in the front and not the back. Thanks, Aaron.
But don't worry, rest of my books, I'm sending to the best presser in Texas that I know. So, Red Hood. And then last but not least, we got our favorite quarterback, our international man of mystery, Josh Allen, International Comics. How's it going?
What's going on? I'm good. How are you all?
Doing great.
Josh,
Josh, did you order that book for us, man?
Answer Joe first. Yeah.
The foreign one?
No.
Adam Hughes. You didn't order it for us?
Oh, no, not yet. No.
Okay.
Silence. Yeah, Josh, I don't think we've ever streamed together. So hi.
No, hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm excited.
All right. before we get down to business, I want to thank Cover Price. So make sure you use the code Nirvana14 for a 99 cent subscription for 1 month for their unlimited service. And also, don't forget to hop over to birdcitycomics.com and get your entries by spending $50 at total price, but use the code Nirvana to get 10% off your order, and you'll be entered into the CGC 9.8 8 billion genies, which I think is what is that hitting like 800? Is that
8 billion? I think was the last time. The price.
I'm surprised it hasn't broken a 1K yet. So
yeah, it's insane. I haven't actually checked it, but yes, do that because we only have 6 days left in that contest.
Yeah,
Don't miss it.
Yep. All right.
All right. Before we get going, the normal disclaimer: this is not a spec list. Please don't go rush out and buy any of these books because you think you're going to make a ton of money. That is not the point of this. We're just talking about some really cool books. And actually, I couldn't be more excited about the books we have tonight. It's a super fun list. Lots of really cool stuff. But just, this is not a spec list. This is just some really maybe off-the-run books that people might not know about that we're just going to dive into and talk about. So just want to put that up there.
Yeah, and before we start, I almost forgot. They call me Bruce. So I will play a guitar riff real quick before we actually start.
We need to get a riff just for Bruce.
All original on the spot.
All right.
Very nice.
All original on the spot. All right, someone's echoing.
All right.
Very nice.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it. This is Idolized #1 by Art Adams. We've been featuring Art Adams a lot lately on this because I think he's really phenomenal and somewhat underappreciated by the modern comic community. At least it feels that way because he was such a heavyweight when I was growing up collecting. But this is actually not an easy book to track down. So this is a cover A. According to Comicron, there are about 6,300 copies ordered, but don't take that as really the ultimate number because this was sold on Aspen's website and they were available. So I would guess that might be upwards of closer to 10,000. Regardless, it's not a book you see every day, but it's in that classic Art Adams sort of profile pose where he's had so many books that people pay big money for. And this is one that I think flies under the radar a little bit, but a really sort of stunning looking book by, for me, one of the best in the game.
When did that come out?
This is like 2010, I want to say 14. These are out there. You can find them digging, but not easily.
I swear I've seen that book in the eBay listings. It's like, it's a cool cover, but I never really paid attention to it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something I'd go chase and necessarily pay up for, but it is. Last time I checked, there were none of these on eBay.
I'm looking as we speak, actually.
There weren't any there, but it is tough to get hands on this one. From what I can tell, there are no copies graded on this for CGC. CBS had a 9.8 sell for $45 about 3.5 years ago. But a book that doesn't pop up that often, but is pretty good looking. And while we're on it, if you go to the next slide, this is just sort of. And for me, I like this one better. I would imagine most people wouldn't, but I just love Art Adams' line work so much. This is a 1 in 16. Aspen did some funky ratio variants, like not the normal numbers you'd normally see. But this one it's a 1 in 16. I actually have this one. Hold on. I've got
this. Is 2012 too, Mercenary, to answer your question.
Okay.
But this one is like the actual, like, they didn't do much to it. It's the original art that he sent right in. There was nothing, like, even with like the board on the bottom and everything. So it's, for me, I like the line work on this one even better than the colored one. I would imagine for most people they prefer, the full color, the finished work. But there's something about this particular book that I absolutely love. And there's five of these on CGC, 3 and 9.8. I couldn't find any recent sales data on anything graded on this book. It doesn't pop up a lot.
It seems like a lot of those indie companies, like, you said this was an Aspen book. Like, who else does weird ratios? Like Dynamite, they do weird ratios too, like where it's like a 1 in 11, 1 in 21,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't surprise me they did the 1 in 16. And then before we move on, thank you so much, Ferdbird, for the $1.99 super chat. I will add more guitar riffs.
Great member of the community. If you guys don't know Ferdbird, he's a huge member of the community. Thanks so much, man.
We're like best friends, Ferdbird and me. Best friends.
Yeah, salt of the earth, as they say.
And have a safe trip to your. I know you're traveling soon.
I'm gonna have to look, but I'm pretty sure I have 3 of those. Not the 1 in 16s, but the normal ones.
I mean, the normal ones you never see. You never see pop up. But yeah, really cool books. These strike me the kind of books that maybe just pop up in like $10 bins at cons and stuff. Worth keeping an eye open if it's something that you like.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, there are some good covers. All right, so these are some absolutely beautiful books that I don't think anybody really knows about. So this is Elizabeth Torque, who I think is wildly underappreciated in the community. She's done some absolute bangers. This is also an Aspen book. This is a 1 in 12, and for me, just the colors and the line work is really quite phenomenal on this. It's actually not a highly printed book, but it's not that rare. It's out there for $15 to $20, I would say, but there are only about 3,500 copies of this ordered, so it's not a heavily printed book, but it's one I never see anybody talk about, and I just think it's really quite stunning.
Bro, it's got that Chihuahua from TikTok, dude. The one that attacks its owner all the time. Nikki, you ever seen that? I gotta get it for the Chihuahua, bro.
That's a ferret. It's wrapped around her neck.
That's a Chihuahua.
What kind of Chihuahua is that long that you can wear it like a neck brace?
What, that Chihuahua sticks? Is that long, like a dachshund or what?
No, ferrets, like the little.
Yeah, wraps. It's like a weasel, man.
That's not a ferret. That's a Chihuahua.
We'll work on animals tomorrow, Red Hood. This is a cow. This is a cat. That's a ferret.
Oh, especially like with the red eyes too, right?
Yes. Ben, this is the same artist. I didn't realize that did the Moon Knight #1, the 1 in 50 variant, where you have Moon Knight holding the 2 red crescents. I didn't realize that was Elizabeth.
Yeah, I think it is a ferret.
Yeah, she's done some really good stuff. She did the book. So there's an Invincible Iron Man done by Amalgam Comics in Philly. That is a genuine ghost, where it's Riri Williams and the owner of the coffee shop together, and you can't get hands on it. But she also did that. I think she's wildly underrated. She's done some amazing stuff.
She also did the astonishing X-Men #2 variant, where it's like there's parts of
the yellow one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yellow one.
Yeah.
That's another absolute beautiful book.
Ultra saying Elizabeth Torque does eyes better than most artists.
Yeah, she's really underappreciated, and these books, these Damsel in Excess books, are relatively rare, I would say. So not for everybody, but I think books that maybe people aren't particularly aware of.
Anybody that likes Chihuahuas, right, Joe?
Or ferrets.
Or ferrets, and or.
Oh man. And then I really doubt a lot of stores ordered the 1 in 12 if only 3,500 copies were ordered.
Yeah, once again, these are Aspen, so keep in mind they kept a lot of copies for their online store, which I don't think factor into the diamond numbers that Comic-Con comes up with. So that's probably closer to 5,000, I would guess. But regardless, it's not a huge amount of books printed either way.
No.
We have another one of books. There's another one. I couldn't help myself but throwing a second one on here. She's did a number of this one, but this is another one that I thought was particularly well done. This is a 1 in 10, slightly fewer orders. I would still say it's probably closer to that 5,000 number all in, but just another really nice book that she did. She did issue #1. I can't remember if she did issue #4 or not, but yeah, just another cool Elizabeth Torque cover that doesn't really in conversation very often.
What was that, Yee? Okay?
That was my dog knocked over my base. That's all it was. It's all right.
You're all good. You're all good.
Yeah, the neck is still good, so that's what's important.
Have any of you guys read these books? I've never even heard of this title.
Yeah, I've got some of them. She's got. I don't know where they are. I think this was number 1. Yeah.
They're all Yee. You all right?
This was number 1 as well. I mean, I didn't throw it on this list, but a cool book in its own right. But these can be found for. You don't have to pay crazy money for any of this stuff. Like, it's out there, but it's. I don't know. For me, it's worth picking up if you see it digging. So. But it's an underappreciated artist who is really, I think, one of the better in the game.
It looks like she only has 4 fingers on the bottom.
Well, I think her thumb is probably tucked in there.
Yeah, it's invisible.
Yeah, like this. See, I have 5
No,
fingers.
I'm just saying that it might be something to look at.
This was 2012, right? Or is that the previous book?
I think it's out there, yeah, right in that time, Aaron. I think that's right, yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, roughly. Very cool.
All right, what else do we got on this list? Okay, this is a book that went ghost quickly. This is an open order cover A. David Nakayama. We talk about Nakayama a lot on the show. You can't find this book. There's also a version of it, which is actually a little bit easier to find than this cover A. Excuse my typo here. This is not the 1 in 30 we're seeing. The 1 in 30 is the virgin. This was an open order cover A. This book in general had a low orders, less than 6,000, according to Comic-Con. A ton of variants for this, but this book is really hard to get hands on. I've never found it. I've looked for it for a while. It's out there, but it's not an easy one to track down. And I think it's particularly well done by Nakayama.
Seems to be an audience favorite too, the Nakayama covers.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Somebody hit me up on Instagram because I post a lot about Nakayama, and they said he seems to be big with speculators, but not for collectors. And I was like, it's funny that you say that. I would say it's exactly the other way around. I think there's a lot of collectors who like his stuff, but the speculators stay away because, I mean, his stuff doesn't flip for big money. But that was just my point of view on it. But he's really, for me, one of the top artists in the game, and this is one that I've wanted from him for a while and never really been able to track down. And like I said, this is a cover A.
He's for sure one of the best in the game. Mercenary, do you have a favorite Nakayama? Like, ever? One.
You know what? I gotta say I like the Strange Academy Scarlet Witch cover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was nice. That was nice. It's so many, but there's honestly, this one is like it's one of those ones like I gotta get my damn hands on this thing. So
Me
it's
too, man. That's a great cover, dude.
I know that's going on the list for me.
Dude looks like a young Josh Brolin, and the girl looks like, man, I'm trying to put what actress that looks like. Man,
Denise Richards.
Yeah, right. A little bit. Man, that's just a great cover, man.
And she was in the Bond film too. So.
And she doesn't even know he's about to shoot her either. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes that cover even
who's
better.
shooting first though, man? She's ready to cap him. It looks like so.
Yeah. They both have their guns ready. Trigger.
Has anybody on here ever seen this one before?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
I also don't look for a lot of James Bond books in general.
No, either way, it's not.
Lords is
I do. There's a lot of variant covers with great artists. Like I'm starting to, look for meat on the bone when I'm going out digging, man. Because you never know. I mean, look at this book.
Watching our show, that's super flattering, man. Appreciate that. You are a legend in this podcasting game, man. Thanks so much.
Who was that?
I think that was TiVo. It was
it's probably TiVo, yeah.
And then shout out to all the homies that are up in Canada right now for Fan Expo. So,
what number is this? Number
7.
Number James Bond 007 number 7.
Yeah, there's a ton of covers for this too. So I mean, like of the 6,000 ordered, I mean, cover A's are usually heavily ordered, but there's a lot. So there's not going to be whatever they ordered. It's not going to be all these. So that's why it's so hard to get hands on this thing.
So I'm going to hit up David and say, hey, man, you got an extra copy?
Alrighty. Had to go with another Nakayama here. I really like.
Oh man.
So here's a couple of points. Almost every major artist has done a Vampy cover, right?
Yeah.
And in my younger years, I never really cared so much about Vampirella, but sort of as I've grown in the hobby, just tracking down some of these works from big artists, just everybody's done a cover. There's one major artist that I have not found a cover of, and that's McFarlane. And if somebody knows of a McFarlane Vampirella cover, please let me know. But I've never been able to track one down, so that's not a conclusive an answer. But I really like this book for a lot of reasons. One, Nakayama is fantastic. Yeah, it has that distressed look to it, which I really like. It's just the trade dress and the character on this, right? There's nothing else on it. It's just a really clean, sharp book. This was an SDCC/KRS exclusive from back in 2019, so just before the pandemic. But you don't see these pop up very often. The last 9.8 sold for $61 back in February, so next to nothing. 15 on the census, 13 total, but just a really, really sharp book.
Damn. I like the distressed look too. That makes makes the whole piece so much stronger. I don't know. There's something about that just makes it feel like it's, I mean, obviously it's making it feel like it's older, but it makes it feel special.
Yeah, it really works. I don't know why I'm a sucker for that too. Like, I really like the distressed look and when they do that in books. And this one, I think just given that it's all red and black, just with the trade dress, I don't know, something about this book that's really nice. I don't have one of these. I do want one, but they're hard to track down.
I want Josh.
I feel like also like.
Oh, Josh, you haven't said anything.
I know, dude. Well, this is not my playground at all. Like, if I end up owning like one book out of all these, like, I'm like, all right, yay! Like, I am here for the foreign stuff, pretty much.
We always save that for the last. We can bump that to the top of the list, Josh. We always kind of save the foreign stuff, but like it's the closer. We close out the show with the foreign stuff. So
I might have this book, honestly. I was like a huge closet Vampy collector like years ago, so I might have this. I have some hard to find Vampy stuff.
Yeah, he's focused on Vampirella, I'm sure. Chad thinks this is the worst pose in comic books, to have the boobs and ass visible in one human. I think it kind of works. She's twisting. She's looking over her shoulder.
Hey, listen, I think Nakayama's trying to make the most
of
it.
Like you got her. Hey,
it predates all the Instagram models, like posing for pictures and stuff like that. So it's something that they gave inspiration to.
See, there you go.
Yeah, and then we even have Matt Royable like in the house watching. Matt. Like he loves oddities and foreign comics is what he was saying earlier. So
nice. What's up, Matt? What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
All right, let's keep the show going. All right, this was a book that had some buzz a little while ago. Lola Xoxo number 5. This was a Black Friday variant. It was only limited to 200 copies. Couldn't find any sales data on this, but people were going crazy over this book a while ago. And just one that doesn't pop up. I don't think there's any listed anywhere, but just a nice, beautiful. Rare book that doesn't pop up very often.
Oh, it's perfect. You could just frame this and hang it up in your bathroom or my makeup room. She's beautiful.
I think there are prints of this that are out there because the comic is so hard to find, but just a tough one. And like I said, the Black Friday variant was made available on Black Friday, and I think
it's just limited to 200.
What's that?
How is it just limited to 200?
Well, not enough, I mean?
That's Bo Yang.
Who's the publisher, Ben?
This is Aspen again.
I don't know how their stuff works. That's crazy, though. I mean, it's so incredibly rare. I mean, Joe, I was surprised you didn't say a mama on this one.
I like it, but I like that Nakayama a little bit better.
Yeah,
I mean, that is cool. I mean, it's cool. The limited to 200 print run. I mean, the legs, man, they're phenomenal. Love the black dress.
What about the shoes?
Nah, I don't know anything about shoes.
The shoes
I-
work.
Hopefully her
would've guessed
feet
Laura.
don't stink. Hopefully she doesn't have sweaty feet.
I would have guessed this was an instant buy for Laura if it was in the red dress, right?
I was actually thinking, well, honestly though, the red wouldn't match well with the background. The black works here because she's like, it kind of makes her like move with the bar a little bit. But typically I prefer a blonde and red. But she's cute.
Matt
Yeah.
saying it has a classic pinup look, and then Lager's asking about the Black Friday sale. So I guess like certain retailers have like books that are just released for Black Friday. So
Maybe we should do that. We've never done that before. The slit needs to be a teeny bit higher, and then I would be happier. Just a little bit higher on the slit, just a little bit, or even like a garter would have been really pretty. But Atomic Blonde vibes, yeah, I could see that. There you go.
and then
Josh
legs are kind of
loved it.
bent.
All
They are
right.
like the ankles bent kind of strange. Like it's like, man.
All right. I don't know what else we have on here. Let's see what we got next. All right.
What?
This is a tough Scotty Young book, right? For the Scotty Young collectors out there. We talked
That's a
about
great cover.
Backlash,
It's great.
last week. I wish Jen was on because she knows more about Hackslash than most people that I know. But this is a tougher Scotty Young book to track down. I couldn't find any graded copies, any recent sales. People ask a lot for this book when it does show up, like several $100, and one for the Scotty Young enthusiasts. But a tough book, and one I think that'll grow over time as more people try to complete the Scotty Young run. This one's tough to get hands on.
I would never have guessed this, man. This is crazy.
That is cool. That is
Dope.
super cool.
You know, honestly, I was like scrolling through the slides like right before, like, because I always like scroll through the slides before picking a comic for the thumbnail and stuff like that, and I didn't even notice that this was a Scotty Young cover. Like, even though it's like written letters there, so I mean, but that doesn't surprise me either because of his like, you know, Fairyland stuff. Like, that's all gory and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean, his style is actually all over the board. He's known for a certain look, but he's actually quite versatile in the stuff that he does. And
I think Middle West is a lot different than his typical Scotty Young look, right? Like this again, this doesn't look like a Scotty, that vibe that he has, but I'm trying to find it too. But he did the Middle West cover, and that was so different.
well, and then like some of his early work reminds me of the Middle West stuff. Like when I think of like the ASM covers or even the Cable Deadpool part, like from like 45 to 50 or whatever.
Yeah, he has a number of books that are him that people don't guess that it's him till later. But Hackslash has a number of books. There's actually another Hackslash book on this book list on this book that is fairly sought after, easier to find. But if we go to the next slide, is really quite collectible. So this is a Dan Perrin cover B. It's obviously an Archie style homage with some innuendo, over the top innuendo in this one. And this is also a distressed book that is really, really convincing when you see it. You see that spine that looks like it's curled with the staples coming out. And when you grab this book, it looks like the book is actually had its spine ripped off.
I found that book about a year ago. And when I saw it, I'm like looking at it just to make sure there's nothing wrong with it.
It looks like it's legit spine roll, right? Like yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, these books, these Hackslash books were not heavily ordered. This is a cover B. I found this digging a number of times, but it people ask quite a bit for it, $50-$60 or more. But yeah, Dan Parent getting a little edgier than usual. So a book I really like and kind of a fun Archie style homage.
There are a ton of Hackslash kind of like gimmicky themed covers. And
there's another Archie style one too. It wasn't done by Dan Parent. It might have been Seeley who did the cover.
This won't be the last Hackslash book we talk about in the upcoming shows.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of really good ones. And like I said, Jen knows a shitload. She helped me like track down a Hackslash book. She knows a lot about Hackslash.
No.
I'm
Make sure
Who wants to hop on? Like,
I'm not even a hack slash fan, and I've come across like so many like just striking covers, you know.
yeah, there's some Frizzen ones that are absolutely lights out. I mean, there's some really exceptional hack slash books,
and a lot of them are just cover price books too.
Yeah, and some of them you can actually get a lot for them, but you can definitely find them digging. I don't think anybody's going through the hack slash stacks right now. So yeah, if you're willing to do the work, you can find them.
Are all the hack slash books DDP books?
Publisher? No, I mean, Image did a run. DDP obviously had a huge run. I think there was one other publisher too in there. Going blank, but there was some Image stuff as well. But yeah, DDP was I believe the first run.
Yeah, because I know like G.I. Joe had a run within DDP also, and so there's quite a few of those books that are like pretty tough to find also, just because like no one was ordering them. And I imagine that like only Brian, me, and Nate are the only ones that really collect G.I. Joe stuff. So Mercenary too. I know he has all those action figures like hiding back there.
I'm trying to find I'm trying to find as many like sealed G.I. Joes as I possibly can.
Oh man, they're big bucks. So you're talking about like the original ones from when we were kids, like
yeah.
Those are big bucks, man.
I'm trying.
All right, what do we got next? All right, we're gonna keep with the Archie theme, I guess, here for a little bit. So this book's got a little bit of a story to it. There's a lot of controversial Archie books, whether it's the comments on the cover or the content of the cover. This one's controversial, but people might not remember why. So this is Betty and Veronica 251. This book goes for real money. So the last sale we saw was back in 2020 for $195 in 9.8. There aren't a ton of these on the census. 29 graded, 19 and 9.8. The Archie books were really did not have a lot of orders from comic shops. There are newsstands as well. I would say this, and I don't have the exact numbers. I don't think the newsstands, to be honest, are that different from a print run, because they were showing up in like supermarkets and stuff than the directs. It's not like this 1%, 2% sort of thing that people think about nowadays, because these books are actually finding their ways to newsstands when there were no more newsstand comics and other avenues. So I'd be careful about paying up for newsstands in this area. But the reason this book is controversial is that this was not the original solicited art. If you go to the next slide, the original solicited art was this. And people got up in arms over this. Like, what are Betty and Veronica doing out in the snow dressed like that? With mainly the boots and the heels. So they changed it to the Uggs, still in swimsuits, which apparently was fine, and that seemed to solve the controversy. But this was the original solicited art for this issue, and was the reason why the controversy came to pass.
They were just taking pictures. It's no big deal.
Oh, and then Josh, we had a question from Karen. Have you seen? I'm assuming the hack slash books in a international version before.
I have not seen any foreign hack slash stuff. That would be cool to see. I haven't seen any. And if you're talking about this Betty and Veronica, I haven't seen this either, but I would love to find it. It's got to be out there.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's one of the more expensive ones, although there are several stuff they got away with. And this isn't even like the worst of it. Like the fact that they killed this one, given some of the other covers they put out over the years, is kind of shocking. But this apparently crossed the line, because my understanding was nobody should be dressed going out like that, going out in the snow. So if you go back to the original one, do you mind, Aaron, real quick, with the boots? This seemed to solve the problem, and they changed the outfits a little bit.
And it's a holiday scarf too. That always saves it. And then probably the like more details in the background too, right?
Yeah. So, anyways, the little fun with the Archie books, I always look for them when I go digging. You'd be surprised how much some of these books sell for. But there's a long list of them, and honestly, there's a number of them that don't go for anything that should, given the comments that are on some of the covers of these, that just people aren't on any people's radar. So I always have fun in those long boxes, digging through them, just taking a minute to read whatever the hell they're saying on these things, because some of them are just like wildly inappropriate. But and speaking of that, there's one more on this list. Now this is a digest size book. So if anybody's familiar with the Archie books, there's the full comics and there's the smaller digests. This one, I can't find any record of. But if you read the comments and look at the guys' faces, it kind of just says it all. So
yeah, get rid of it.
Yeah, this one, I couldn't find any real data on. Keep in mind that nobody spends time looking through the digest size Archies anywhere.
Crap.
So, anyways, one that I think would definitely be worth grabbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even just like the swimsuit. Like everybody chases the swimsuit ones, but these comments are particularly, and the looks on the guys' faces are particularly like, you know. And somehow this one doesn't get banned, but whatever.
It's because it's digest size and not everyone could see it or read it.
All right. So this is one's for Mercenary because he just scored a nice VHS unopened original Pulp Fiction tape. It was beautiful. He was on his most recent taped haul. You can check it out if you haven't. People collect Pulp Fiction covers, and this is one of the more difficult ones to find, believe it or not. The prices are all over the board, what people ask for it. So I win that. But if you're digging, this one's tougher to track down. This is just a cover A, Shanda the Panda #9. And there's a number of Pulp Fiction homages. We can all name a bunch of them off here. But if you're looking for them, this one's harder to get hands on. So, it's one that you're not going to miss if you see it in the back issue bins. And honestly, if you're ever just digging in the dollar bins and you find a Pulp Fiction homage, just grab it. People love them. They move.
And then I'll buy it if you do. So, hit me up.
Anybody have this one? I don't. I like these books. But I've never found this one.
I'm still looking for the Animaniacs one, so I don't know if you.
I found that one like a few months ago in a dollar bin.
Oh wow! Congrats.
That was super
nice.
sick.
Yeah, you're just adding more books for me to like find when I'm back issue bin diving and all that. So
this one will be in a bin somewhere when you're digging. I'm certain of it. But
yeah.
But I think there's a copy on eBay. Somebody's asking like $50 for maybe or something like that. Don't go out and pay that. But definitely keep your eyes open for this when you're digging in the back issue bins. All right, what else we got here? This is a book Card and I just talked about. So we all love Bruce Timm. Gen 13 for a long time was the biggest thing in comics. This is a cover B. It's almost gone ghost status. I mean, it's out there. You can find them, but tougher to get hands on. Ironically, oddly, there's only 6 graded. It seems like there should be a lot more. Only one of those is 9.8. 28,000 copies ordered in total for this book. Like I said, there's a cover A and a cover B. Generally, cover Bs are more lightly ordered than cover A's, but with Bruce Timm doing this, you can't be sure of that. Regardless, it's harder to get hands on, but just a classic book that I've loved for a long time.
Nice.
I know you have this, Carter. I think we've definitely talked, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Is it a wraparound cover?
No.
I had to ask.
That was good. Oh yeah, I have this one. This is a great cover.
This is Carter. Carter, you want to dive in on this one, man?
Yeah. Amazing Spider-Man, rather. 700.3. This is a Quinones. Who did this cover? It looks like Joe Quinones, but
I thought
it does look like Quinones.
Pascal Ferry, I thought, was when I looked this up. That's what I found. Maybe I fucked it up, but that's what I thought I found on this one.
Okay, but I remember coming across this cover like maybe a year or so ago, and thinking to myself, how is this thing not worth? Like it's a cover price comic, but I just figured just off a general principle. And the fact that it's just such an amazingly designed cover that it should be worth more than that, at least double cover.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, man.
I just looked it up on comics.org. I'm seeing Joe Keonis.
Okay.
As the
Okay.
covers.
Yeah.
I thought I looked it up on my comic shop. They said the cover artist was but maybe I was looking at something else. It looks like Keonis. I mean,
I remember picking this up at the LCS when it came out. I don't remember if it was a 1 in 10 or a 1 in 25, but I saw it. I think this. What year did it come out? 2018, 19, something like that.
2014.
14. Holy shit! I'm
20
getting old, man.
2013 was the on sale date.
Wow.
Wow. Damn.
Wow.
I bought it. I bought it from my LCS, and I still remember buying it.
Yeah, it's funny. It's almost a 10-year-old book, and
Wow.
like I'm seeing like crisp near mint copies for cover price in the back issue bins. You know what I'm saying? So it's just weird.
A lot of those point 0.2, 0.1s, like they're like not a lot of people pick them up.
you know, I checked the numbers on that. They're higher than I thought. They're not as high as like the main numbered issues in these run, but they're still fairly heavily ordered. I want to say this was like in the 60K range, something like that, which kind of surprised me because I agree. It feels like these were not like books that all the LCSs were buying to the same degree as the main numbered titles. It's a super good looking book.
By the way, Alphonse Mucha inspired cover, by the way.
Very nice.
Yeah, so when I first got back into collecting, my big thing was to collect the Death of characters. So I was always digging for issue 700, and then like I would always see the 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and I'm like, oh, they don't have it, for 700. And yeah, but I don't think I've ever seen this cover before, honestly, like when digging for that.
And people love Black Cat covers, right? I mean, All right, what do we got else on this?
That's
keep
bad.
going, Mercenary. This is all
that's another dollar bin book, Clown Fatale #2. I came across it in the dollar bin, and it was just absurd enough for me to want to pick up. There's nothing more. There's really nothing more to it. Just a funky cover.
It's beautiful. This is the exact kind of stuff I grab when I'm digging the dollar bins. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna take that one. I mean, I hadn't seen it before though. I think it's really cool.
Dude, she kicked him in the face with chanclas, bro.
But was she as fast as lightning is what I want to know.
I would say so. Looks like she got two guys with one kick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Or no, he's got like something in his throat. Yeah.
Yeah, she threw the
she threw
the dart
it.
at him.
Yeah, she threw the dart.
Oh yeah, because her hands like are
the dart, throw it at
And I could have swore the other covers in the series are kind of, along these lines as well. I can't really remember, but I think so.
Yeah, this is a good one.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, another one of my picks.
This is the back issue bin section where you can find these cool books. Probably if you go.
Yeah, it's ladies' night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Justice League Unlimited #20. It's like one of those covers that I think if you see it for $1, you ain't gonna pass it up. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I can't imagine like these books were jacked up, and only 11,000. Like if you find this in a high grade, I mean, like you talked about principle, Mercenary, just on principle alone, finding this in a high grade should be worth something,
Yeah.
Only 11,000 copies. That's next to nothing.
And it's a kid's book.
Oh, you're screaming to my childhood right now, like Ty Templeton cover. Like I grew up on the Batman Adventures stories. Like that was like some of the first comics I ever bought.
Wow.
Yeah, really cool, man. And
don't forget about these, man.
That are worth grabbing. Yeah, this low print run stuff that probably wasn't looked after back then. I mean, is stuff that is absolutely worth grabbing. All right, I think we got one more of yours, Mercenary, out here.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's a great cover.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that store that I went to that had the 10-cent books. This was in This was in the 10-cent bin like maybe 6 months ago, and
Wow.
I came across this, and I have no Squadron Supreme number. Is it volume 2?
I think
The book
I think
is
so.
Squadron Supreme 2, number 3. Yeah.
Okay.
That
All right.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, just I have no clue what's going on this cover, but I'm just like, you know what? It's worth picking up.
Yeah, listen, Land's got his fans, and this is a better Land, and yeah, this is sharp as hell, man.
Like, I don't even know who the hell this character is on the cover. I don't know. I guess I should have done some research beforehand.
I will say a lot of the Squadron Supreme books, like they're starting to take off. People are speculating on Squadron Supreme, and but you know, like Greg Land is just that's some of his best stuff. You know, like the early stuff where it's just drawing girls, man. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like he's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Karen, just find a Mercenary, and then you can go digging in the Midwest somewhere.
He's the only person I've ever known to find 10-cent bins. Ever.
Yeah, 10-cent, man.
So,
just, like, just give them to him.
And he's pulled some shit out of these 10-cent bins that will make your eyes curl, man. I mean, I've seen some of your videos, man. You have pulled some big books out of 10-cent bins.
He just hops into his DeLorean and then sets the dial back to like where he needs to go, and then boom.
Man, if I could do that, Aaron, I would need a big U-Haul, bro.
Oh, and then AOA on the previous cover, the Justice League, that blue alien, that's a Cartoon Network character. I don't remember the character's name, but that's from Cartoon Network. I know that much.
All right, what do we got next? All right, this is Dazzler number 1.
Oh, that's cool.
It's a beautiful book.
I've never seen that book.
Androskovsky, cover A. For a Marvel book, this was not heavily printed, so 16,000 for a Marvel book is not a big number, but this is just a beautiful Dazzler cover. Doesn't go for much, but I picked one up recently. And yeah, just an absolute amazing book. Really good looking.
All right.
I've never seen that book.
Real quick, Lords of Brooklyn is sending you on a challenge to go to New York City and then dig out some gold out of there.
New York's tough, man. I've done some digging in New York. Some of the Midtown dollar bins, you can find some stuff in there. But New York is tough. New York City is a tough hunting ground. Hey, here's Reborn Comics, the $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. And you're right, Carter is a Kang variant using time travel to buy books. 100%. The only explanation. The only fucking explanation.
And then real quick, thank you so much for the super chat. And as usual, I will play a guitar riff. I think my guitar's out of tune.
Just own it, man. Just go with it.
Yeah.
All right. I think that is the end of the domestic portion of this show, but we're not going to leave you guys hanging because people tune in for the international stuff. And we got some cool books from Josh tonight, as always. I think, if I remember how the order of this thing goes, but let's take a look. Do we have an international comic up next? There we go.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, who made this slide?
I fucked it up. What did I
do? Everybody always spells Columbia with a U.
With a U, right?
With a U. So it just makes me laugh because we have a group chat with some foreign collectors, and
it's with
even we'll type it with a U every now and then, and there's this one dude in the chat who always calls us out every time we spell it with a U. So it's just funny.
I might have been spell checked from an O to it. I think I just copied it out of what you sent me, but whatever. I own it. I fucked it up.
I mean,
It's
you could have
funny,
rocked
dude.
him right there, Ben. He said, "Hey, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm dyslexic. Don't be picking on me." And then you would have.
So this is the Amazing Spider-Man 129. This is from Columbia.
Columbia.
Yeah. So this book is wild. Definitely a ghost book. This came out in 78, so it came out 4 years after the US. It does have the guts inside of it. I've seen one copy pop up for sale, and that was, I want to say it was 2 years ago. It was one of the guys I know, and it was it had no back cover, so it was just the front cover, the insides, no back, and it sold for, I want to say he sold it for $1,100, $1,200,
Damn.
missing the
Man,
back cover.
You know this book sold in Columbia, bro. Come on. You know
Dude.
it hit the newsstand. Yeah, I gotta have it.
Yeah, without a back cover. So this is, I've only seen 2 copies of, like, I mean, Matt's in here, so he might know how many copies, are known, like 10, maybe 15 of these that, people know about that exist that are in collections.
Is there any like estimate of like how many of these they were making in these countries? Like any ballpark, like what they were producing?
So what a lot of people do is they'll take like whatever year the book came out and they'll look at like the total population of the said country and try and figure it out that way, So like if you just looked up like what was the population of Colombia in 1978, and then, it's going to be insanely lower than the US. So then you just, try and ballpark it that way. But other than that, there's no real, there's no records. And if there are, people don't know about them. So it's pretty much just guess. Like you learn over time. Like you're like, all right, I've seen this book pop up for sale once in 4 years. Like,
Yeah, it's just amazing how few there are. I mean, I understand they don't have the comic book culture that we have down there where people saved and collected these things, but just that there's effectively none, right? That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you look at it like, all right, 1978 Colombia, I'm sure there probably weren't bags and boards even in that country.
I thought you were going to say the country was war torn.
I mean, tons of things play into it. I mean, you got to look at like the history of the country and what they've been through. And, I doubt they were selling bags and boards in 1978 and stuff like that. So, you look at the conditions back then and it's like the copies that survived were probably from like collectors who actually, but how much people had money to like collect stuff, back then or something like that. So there's like a ton of things that you could, go into try and explain it.
They use these to wrap all the weed and put it on the planes, and
Dude,
and that's how
they
the books
could
got
have.
down here.
They could have. It's, I've talked to people in other countries, and like the one guy I know in Greece, and I have some Greek books from like the 50s, and he's like, these are insanely rare. He's like, in the 50s we were burning these like for heat and stuff like that, or like Mexico, they use their comic books for toilet paper, wrapping food, like anything and everything that you could think of. They just use comic books.
Damn,
That's crazy, man.
All right, so this is a killer book. This is like, this is like top 5 of the foreign collecting world. So this is the Filipino Amazing Spider-Man 300. This came out the same year as the US, 1988. Wow. It was done by Atlas Publishing, and there's like 35 copies that we know of that exist, from like people that have been doing this for like a decade. This was actually my copy that I used to own. I sold this book. I think this came back a 5.5 from CGC, and I sold this for $3,000.
Holy shit.
So this book is far and above the American 300. I mean, I think I looked up the census. I think there's 8 of these on the census, and you
How is
compare
this a
that.
5.5? This was your exact copy, Josh. I mean, this does not look
Dude,
like a 5.5.
It was freaking it was the nicest copy I had ever seen, like a picture of, and yeah, it came back a 5.5. So I don't
Was
know
the
what
back all
happened.
fucked up or something? Because the front.
No, it was a gorgeous book. It was really gorgeous, man.
They were just fucking with you, and then
Yeah. So I think the U.S. Census, there's like 25,000 copies on the U.S. Census.
Yeah.
And there's 8 of the Filipino. The highest graded Filipino is an 8.5. There's one of those, and then you compare that to there's 2,600 8.5s of the U.S. on the census. So this book will, if there's a book that has a chance of hitting 10K from that era, it'll be that book all day. If 5.5s are going for more than a US 9.8, because at the time it was going for more.
Oh yeah, I remember when
Yeah.
you sold it. You announced it to one of the chat groups we were in, and I was just I was just shocked, blown away.
Yeah. So a 5.5 went for more than what a 9.8 was going for at the time, because I think 9.8s were going for 20, 25, 2,400, something like that, and I was like, hot dang. So this is a ghost book. I mean, the last copy I had a chance to buy before the guy backed out. I mean, it was barely hanging on, dude. It looked like a bug had chewed halfway up the book. It was rough. So, and there's a waiting line 10 miles long to try and get this book.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's wild.
That's awesome.
It sounds like it's cheaper to fly out to the Philippines and try to find one.
Dude, I would love to do that. That would be so awesome.
Oh, actually, I need to hit up one of my friends that might be visiting there soon.
Drop all your plans, go digging for comics.
Yeah.
Dude, yes.
Say hi to your family later. Help me find this book.
So I don't really have a lot I can say about this book. I literally asked Ben to put this on here because this is a ghost book. This picture right here is the only picture anyone has ever seen. No one's seen this book in person ever. This is Puma Dracula 1 from Argentina. So people in Argentina that we know of that collect have never seen this book. So we don't even know if there's a copy that exists. I mean, there's a physical copy from this picture, but they just don't, it doesn't turn up. No one's ever seen it. So if anyone ever finds this book, yeah.
That's crazy. In this picture, it's not even this is obviously a partial picture, right? There's not even a full picture of this.
So in Argentina, yeah, I wish I had a book by me. So a lot of their older stuff is rectangle. It's probably only 3-4 inches tall, and then maybe 8 inches wide. It's short.
Okay, so
and
that
long.
Is the whole book then. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably the whole book. So I mean, it's just wild. I would love to get that. I love the pink, the Dracula in pink. But Carter, that's where we have to send you to dig for a book. If anyone's gonna find it, Argentina, bro, come on.
Don't cry for me, Argentina.
He's like, I'm not getting a passport for that or taking any kind of crazy shots to get there.
Right. I'm straight. I'll find it here. I'll find a former Nazi or something like that. He'll have it.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, I think that's all we got for you guys tonight. As always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. We love talking about really cool books or books maybe not everybody's talking about. Hope you enjoyed it. Listen, the viewership has been fantastic on the show, so we appreciate everybody who takes the time to watch. And we'll try to be back next week with a new episode.
And then just as a reminder, make sure to use the code Nerdvana14 for 30 days of unlimited membership for 1 month for only 99 cents. And don't forget to get your entries in for the 8 Billion Genies CGC 9.8 that they're doing a giveaway if you spend $50 or more on their website. And you can also use the code Nerdvana to get a 10% discount. But your subtotal has to be $50 or more. Just a heads up. And then does anyone else have anything else to promote that's coming up this week or this weekend or even part of next week?
Yeah, there's always something going on.
Yeah. So make sure you're liking and subscribe to everyone and follow everyone on this panel's Instagram and everything, and you'll be in the know for what's happening next. So thank you. Have a great weekend and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.